and gentlemen, dear colleagues, it makes me very happy to stand in front of all of you today. And let me start by greeting you with the greeting of peace. Peace be upon all of you. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. And wish you all very good afternoon. I am really happy to be here, and I would like to thank the Malaysian people, the Malaysian leadership, for promoting this project for moderation. Since I came to Malaysia, and this is my first time, you can feel that moderation is part of the Malaysian culture. In fact, the package that I took had a couple of books. When I read the book called Driving Transformation, I said this book needs to be translated into Arabic so people in the Arab Spring can read it and move forward with that transformation. I am very optimistic about the work that is being done here. Although I am personally happy, but I am nationally, from an Egyptian perspective, I am disappointed. Because the person whom I am representing today is the Speaker of the Parliament, of the Egyptian Parliament, and the head of the ruling party, Freedom and Justice, is kidnapped and is in jail by the military of Egypt. I am very sad that an elected president of my party, for no reason, is spending time in jail. Not only the president of the party, but also the first elected ever in the history of Egypt is also kidnapped, is taken as a hostage by the military. When I read the title of the session today, I said this title means Egypt. Because there is a process now to sideline moderation. And this will only lead to and perpetuates conflict. That is not good for Egyptians. It is not good for Europeans. It is not good for Americans. It is not good for Malaysians. It is no good for anyone on the face of the earth. Let me start by sharing briefly the story of Egypt. You all know Egypt as the place of the pyramids and the place of the Sphinx. Egyptians, for the past 60 years, lived under military dictatorship. You can easily qualify it as total extremism. We lived under a police state. We lived under a system of corruption, monopoly, and dictatorship. We had no freedom of movement, no freedom of assembly, and no freedom of speech. Then on January 25th, Egyptians gathered their strength and went to the streets of Egypt demanding four things: عيش, حرية, عدالة اجتماعية, كرامة إنسانية. This is what Egyptians wanted. They wanted economic prosperity, freedom, social justice, and human dignity. This is all what Egyptians wanted. They didn't want to fight anyone. They didn't want to have a conflict with anyone. They wanted to live within their own borders, enjoying their own country. And we started a democratic process. We had 3 elections and 2 referendums. and the country was moving slowly but surely. We were moving in the right direction until July 3rd. On July 3rd, 5 crimes were committed against the Egyptian people. The military, and unfortunately I say the corrupt leadership of the Egyptian military, moved against democracy. It kidnapped the president, who was first ever elected in the history of Egypt. And that was the biggest crime ever in the history of modern Egypt. We were shocked. We didn't believe that the military, the Egyptian military, to do this to the democratic president of Egypt. And the second crime, the military suspended the democratically approved constitution of the country. A constitution that I was so happy to take it to the villages and discuss it with common people, to tell them now we're making our own constitution the way we want. People were so happy. Farmers and workers would come together in a small room and discuss each article. The third crime the military committed was dissolving an elected parliament. Can you ever believe the military intervenes to put an end to an elected parliament? And the fourth crime, first time ever again in the history of modern Egypt, that you see the Egyptian army killing the Egyptian people, peaceful protesters in the streets of Egypt. We're talking about thousands being killed. We're talking about thousands being injured. And the fifth crime against moderation is imprisoning more than 15,000 political prisoners. For nothing. They were members of parliament. They were members, people elected by the people of Egypt to be able to take the country forward. And unfortunately, certain corners in the world either supported, yes, very few, we're talking about few countries, 4 or 5 countries, and many are still silent. I am very happy to stand in front of all of you today to share with you the story of Egypt. Egyptians are determined to peacefully, and I underline peacefully, resist the coup, the military coup. We will resist it in the streets of Egypt. For 5 months now, we have been peacefully marching in the streets of Egypt, and I call upon the civilized world. I call upon all democracies. I call upon those who care about human rights, is to support the aspirations of the Egyptian people, to be able to have their democracy back, and have the rule of law back, to have moderation back. I know it is a long struggle, but I'm very sure that all of you, or I hope that all of your respected countries will condemn the coup and not to recognize it at all, and not to cooperate with its leadership. I hope that you will be able to pressure the coup authority in Egypt to stop killing Egyptians and to release the political prisoners. and allow democracy, and democracy results. My friends, moderation is a choice. We're not born moderates. It's very similar to democracy. We're not born Democrats. We choose to become Democrats. And we choose to become moderates. When you close the door of political participation, what do you expect from young people who would like to have their aspirations? They would like to be able to graduate from their schools, would like to be able to get a job. Unless there is political freedom, there will not be economic development. Economic development is very much needed in Egypt. But when people are not free, they cannot produce better alternatives. Finally, on behalf of the kidnapped President of the Freedom and Justice Party, Dr. Saad al-Khattabi, I appeal to you all to stand by the side of the Egyptian people and to move more towards moderation and away from extremism through the following steps. And I repeat them. Number one is to condemn the military coup. Let us say together in one voice, never again to military dictatorship. Military dictatorship should not control democracies. Because when the military controls democracy, it corrupts the military and it corrupts democracy. We need to join hands together to say never again to support any coup anywhere on the face of the earth. That's why I joined parliamentarians. I am a parliamentarian. I was elected by the people of Egypt. And I shared with other members of the parliament, about 500 some now, worldwide. I invite any one of you who is a member of his or her parliament is to join that movement. It's a worldwide movement to put an end to military coups, to control democracies. And also to pressure the coup authority to release the prisoners, political prisoners, members of parliament, university professors, students, hundreds of students. I don't know, most likely you followed the news, girls under the age of 15 are sentenced 11 years because of carrying something like this. How can we expect moderation comes when there is political oppression? But we are resisting the oppression and we're resisting it peacefully. We're insisting on moderation even when we're fighting back state terrorism. We would like to let moderation rule by respecting the results of democracy. What is democracy? We're a baby democracy. First time ever we had a democracy. We were so happy that we had a democracy. First time ever we elected a president of our own. If we don't like what the president does, we remove the president. Not through military, but through democracy. We would like to do it through the ballots, not through the bullets. Bullets kill. Ballots make people grow and to provide better alternatives for people. I assure you that the majority of the Egyptian people will continue peacefully in the streets of everywhere in Egypt, every city, every village, until the military coup is broken, until democracy is back, and until we complete the democratic process in Egypt. Those who support moderation need to support the dream of Egyptians. Egyptians will respect those who respected their aspiration for a better future. All what we need and all what we will need is remember those four things: economic prosperity, freedom, social justice, and human dignity. I thank you again, and let us work together for more moderation, for more inclusive democracy, for more human rights for all, for more economic prosperity for all, and for more human dignity for each and every human being on the face of the earth. Thank you for giving me this opportunity.